England, this is the start of the Euro 2024 send-off, and boy, we've started in style. They were waiting for the goals, and then they came. Cole Palmer with a penalty, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and who else? Harry Kane getting in on the act as well for a well-deserved 3-0 win this evening here at St James's Park. Don't forget, you can vote for your EE Man of the Match. Head to England's social channels, all over social media.
It's full time here at St James's Park. England have begun their Euro 2024 preparations with a 3-0 victory over Bosnia and Herzegovina. 65 minutes though, it really wasn't much to shout about. It was harder work than it should have been. England were poor, and honestly, in a way that's to be expected given the quality that wasn't on the pitch. Harry Kane on the bench, given that he's had a few injuries with Bayern towards the end of the season. No Bukayo Saka, no Harry Maguire, Phil Foden, Kyle Walker given time off, Kobbie Mainoo as well. Jude Bellingham obviously still with Real Madrid after the Champions League win. So there's a lot of quality not here, a lot of quality that you would imagine will play that first game against Serbia. Second half was a little bit better, I thought, for England overall. I think Trent Alexander-Arnold in midfield is something I'm not really sure about. I think I said that at full time. Genuinely don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. I think he's too good not to play in this team, and that's kind of the issue that Gareth Southgate's got. He's so good, one of England's most talented players, but if he doesn't quite fit in alongside Rice, alongside Bellingham, alongside Foden, it's a great headache to have for Southgate. Did he do enough tonight to push his way into that? For me, in the second half, he certainly did. He was very good. He took his goal very well after Cole Palmer's penalty, and then Harry Kane came off the bench to wrap it up late on. In the second half, as I say, Trent was much better, and he isn't likely to play at right back given that Kyle Walker's there. Kieran Trippier, captain in front of his own fans tonight, played left back. That's probably where he's likely to play if he's going to play at all. If Luke Shaw's not fit, this is the problem though. I think England starting with Eberechi Eze at right back and Kieran Trippier at left back kind of shows their weakness coming into this tournament. They've got the best squad. They've got all this expectation of 50,000 fans here tonight, expecting a victory that they eventually took with ease. But in the tournament, are they going into it in the best shape? Definitely not, because of their injuries, and it's a real concern for me that they started that game without two recognised fullbacks, and their main two centre backs not playing either. I think, as I say, there's only one guaranteed starter in that 11 that started tonight, and that's Jordan Pickford in goal. Bright spots were definitely Cole Palmer and Eberechi Eze. Eze's feet in the first half, when he took it round a couple of players, won a free kick, really got the crowd off their feet, which was good to see. But and then Palmer, as I say, grew into it, linked better with Trent Alexander-Arnold in the second half. England were always going to win this game. It was never a question of whether they would or not. I think it was just the manner in which they did it. And as I say, for 65 minutes, there's quite a few things to be concerned about. Having said that, when you're lacking the players and most of the team that is likely to start against Serbia on June 16th in Gelsenkirchen, what are you going to get from this game? It felt like it was, and I think it was a sort of the start of a parade round and a sort of wave off for England going into that tournament. It was more about the fact that Newcastle as a city got to welcome England. Not much really to learn from this game, obviously. Ollie Watkins starting and no Ivan Toney coming off the bench is something of interest, given that there's a fight on for Kane's understudy. But the quality difference when Kane came on, you can see that there's no real question there, and there's no real contest when he's fit. And but I think the crucial thing is England have got to hope that Kane's fit. They've got to hope that Foden is on form, Bellingham comes back in good shape, because there didn't seem to be too much tonight against a very poor, sort of very bang average Bosnia side who, are nowhere near qualification for a tournament. It wasn't really a test in that sense. You've got to hope that those players step up, because beyond Palmer and Eze, particularly in the first half, and then as I say, Alexander-Arnold coming into it in the second half was much stronger. It was really good to watch him sort of spraying the ball around. That volley was brilliantly taken. He is a really good player. It's just a conundrum for Southgate, because can he play him at right back with his defensive issues when you've got Kyle Walker, who is a much more rounded player in that regard, as an option? Probably not. Can you play him in midfield alongside Rice or instead of Rice? Definitely not instead of Rice, alongside him. But do you then not pick Foden in the midfield and funnel Foden out wide? I was saying to somebody during the game when I was sat watching it in the press box that the squad is not really. It's brilliantly talented. There's so much quality, but it's also funneled in the same areas. We lack at fullback. We lack at centre back. We lack, in holding midfield in a sense as well. And they've got so many number 10, so many players to play in behind Kane that you end up trying to funnel them all into the team in a way that doesn't really suit them. And these are the problems that Gareth Southgate has to look at. And I think, for me, I didn't see anything on the evidence of tonight that anyone beyond Pickford, if everybody's fit, comes in, despite the fact that Trent is just a phenomenal footballer. And I think this is the issue. He's a phenomenal footballer that doesn't really, Liverpool fans will be in the comments maybe and criticise me for saying this, but I don't see him as a midfielder good enough for England. Especially in a double pivot. I think I've said this for a long, long time, and I don't think this is going to happen in Gelsenkirchen. I don't think this is going to happen at all in the tournament. But I would definitely play Rice, Bellingham, and Foden as the midfield three. Foden's got to be the one in that most central area, and I worry that he's going to play Bellingham in there because of the form that Bellingham's played showed in a more advanced role for Real Madrid this season. But Bellingham can do anything in that midfield role. He showed that at Dortmund. He was a brilliant number 8 before he was a fantastic number 10. And Foden, I've never seen Southgate say that Foden can play in that sort of central role, and it's really worrying. He's actually batted it away a few times, but for me, that's the midfield three. And then, if he's fit, I would still definitely play Anthony Gordon on the left, and then Bukayo Saka on the right, and Kane up front. I think there's so much quality, in this squad. You don't have to funnel anybody in. Play a system that works for the players you've got, rather than trying to fit Palmer in. Because Palmer played on the right today, and in the first half, he didn't really make those central runs. He started to link up well with Alexander-Arnold in the second half a bit better, and I think that was promising to see as a different option. And of course, England have plenty of options. Options aren't the issue for England in these games. Are you going to play Foden on the left when he isn't really suited there? Palmer on the left when he isn't really suited there, and have them not really play that well? I think it was fantastic to see Eze on the left as well tonight. He really showed that he is not just a member of the squad; he can be a real asset in Germany, because he kind of does something very different. I think you see with England the tactical development of this squad, and you see the tactical development of England, of football and English football. It's less about expression, it's less about creativity, it's about doing what your job is for the team. And I think we saw that with Palmer, lots of passing and moving. It was very flat at times. Eze was the one who got you off your seat. His touch is brilliant. In tight spaces is incredible. He's the one difference maker in terms of style of play. He's the one player who does something different. And I think he's definitely put himself into contention on that left-hand side, or at least he probably should have done. But I think the reality is that we'll probably see Foden or Palmer on that side, and I think that's wrong. I think Gordon should start if he's fit. Again, though, there's too many questions about if they're fit, and that's particularly prominent and pertinent at fullback, where I thought, it's really worrying that England have started Konsa and Trippier in a game 2 weeks before the tournament. That's not going to win the Euros as a pairing. I'd much rather see Trent there, actually, to be honest, and sort of doing that sort of movement and cutting inside and having a bit more fluidity to the team. I would be wary of playing players for the sake of playing them in roles that don't suit them or don't suit the team. There's enough quality throughout this squad to play everyone in a position that suits them well. As I said, I would have Foden in the middle with Bellingham as the number 8 rather than the number 10, and a single pivot with Declan Rice. He won't do that. He'll probably play Mainu, and he'll probably put Foden on the left. And I think that is probably more likely, but I don't think a double pivot works. I think we saw that in the first half. It's too passive, it's too slow, it slows down England's progression, and it got a little bit better as the game got stretched. Kane coming on made a huge difference, but really tonight wasn't about England, it wasn't about learning anything, it wasn't about who comes in and plays, because all the players who likely play when fit weren't here tonight. Foden, Bellingham, Saka, Luke Shaw, but fullback is a real worry, because if Shaw isn't fit, there's no Chilwell, there's just not enough quality there, and I do have concerns. But ultimately, it was a great evening. Fantastic to have England up in St James's Park. Fantastic to be back here. If you like, share, and subscribe. This is what you like, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.